everybody. Welcome back to Meet the Messenger. I know this is a little bit different. Baptiste is not here. He's in Vegas for a fancy journalism conference. So, unfortunately, you're stuck with me. But today, I am going to be interviewing our amazing copy editor, McKenna. So, everybody say hello, McKenna. Hello, McKenna. Hello, McKenna. I would love to first talk about how you, I guess, got introduced to the messenger or figured out you wanted to join or just like the whole beginning process of it. So tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, it was a little bit complicated because I was taking Mike's class last semester, and he had mentioned the messenger and like all the jobs associated with it. And I kind of thought in my head, ooh, I want to do that. But I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do exactly. Because like I can write and I can edit, I could do these things, but I was like, oh, I don't know what position I want to try out for. And then I was also in Professor Price's class, his mass media and society class, and Mike came to that class and was talking about the messenger there, and he mentioned the copy editor position, and he was basically like, yeah, they're kind of the grammar police, they're the ones who are like nitpicking everything. And I was like, finally a job suited for me, because I I've kind of been like the called the grammar police of my friends a couple of times, because I try not to be a jerk about it, but whenever my friends misspell something, I just kind of put like the correct spelling underneath their text, and they get like annoyed with me too. They're like, "Okay, McKenna, whatever." Um, but yeah, I heard about that position and I reached out to Mike, and then I got in contact with you, and the rest is history.
Yes. That's actually so funny. I do that to my friends too. And if you listeners remember, I was copy editor last year, so it must just be a copy editing thing to correct
Yeah.
our friends but yeah, I love that. Well, yeah, I mean, I remember interviewing you and I just felt like immediately we were like the same person. Like, I remember you said something about like just being very detail oriented, and I felt like, oh, like she gets me. Like that's how I am too. And so yeah, I mean, McKenna's been doing a fantastic job, guys. She's the reason, and I'll let her talk about it a little bit more, but she's the reason why our articles are so polished and grammatically correct and everything. So on that note, actually, let me back up a little bit. Will you tell me a little bit about if you've had any or had any journalism experience before joining the messenger, or like was Mike's class the first journalism class you had ever taken? Just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was the my first exposure to journalism, because I've known for years that I wanted to do something related to writing, like maybe not writing just in it of itself, but just kind of something adjacent to it. Um, so I've kind of been like trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do for years, because I kind of flip-flop from like, one industry to the other. Because
Yeah.
I could go like several different ways, but you know, through Mike's class and just kind of, you know, becoming more interested in journalism itself, I kind of realized, this is kind of what I connect to the most.
Mhm.
It fulfills me, and I really like journalism as a medium. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what really got me into it.
Yes, I love that. And I'm shocked actually because you've done such a great job following, at least as far as I'm aware, all the AP style and grammar rules and everything. But clearly, you're also just a good writer. So that's great to have. So then, I guess, kind of backtracking to where we were before, will you tell me a little bit? Obviously, I know, but tell the audience a little bit about what you do maybe from week to week or just in general, like what the copy editor position entails?
Yeah, as the copy editor, I'm just kind of looking over articles because, like from week to week, you'll tell me like, hey, so and so's article is ready to be looked at, and I'll just kind of go in, I'll read it over, and then, I'll just kind of go through and put like my edits as suggestions in Google Drive. And yeah, like sometimes because sometimes these articles can get like pretty long or they're just kind of like all bunched together. Sometimes I'll take like what I want to put as like an edit. I'll put it in like a separate Google Doc and I'll just like edit there first and then I'll like transfer over the edits to the original one. Cause like, I don't know, it just like works better for my brain because I feel like sometimes when I'm looking at something for too long, sometimes skip over things that I need to edit and kind of like have in my brain like, oh, this needs to be changed. So I don't know, just trying to like keep myself aware of those things in like a separate Google Drive. And I'll go through, I'll make all those suggestions and I'll shoot you a little text being like, so and so's article is completely edited.
Yes, yes, I love getting those messages. I'm like, yes, she's on top of it. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. You said something really interesting about just kind of like I agree with you because when I was copy editor, it can definitely get like overwhelming sometimes. Because and this is how I am reading over like my friends' papers as well. Like sometimes I have the tendency to like reword it completely or at least like feel like I need to reword it completely. And I think it's an important balance of finding like making sure it's reworded in a better way while also not like taking over completely. So I think that's actually a really good tactic that you have, like putting it in a separate document. Because also sometimes, if y'all know Google Docs suggestions at all, like it can get confusing once you mark it up a little bit. It's like, wait, what did I just delete? What's happening? So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, well, yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you. And then also on the flip side a little bit, what would you say is the most challenging part of being the copy editor?
Honestly, it's what you mentioned, like trying to keep the author's original voice while also, making sure that everything is grammatically correct, everything makes sense. Because, there will be some articles because every author has different strengths and weaknesses. Like there will be
Mm-hmm.
some authors where, they're really good at setting the scene, they're really good at putting you in the person they're talking about's shoes and they're good at describing things, but maybe they like struggle with transitions or something like that. Like everybody just has these strengths and weaknesses. And I'll look at these things and I'll see like what I want to do in my head, but then I have to like rein myself in and be like, "Hey, I don't want to like I don't want to make this a McKenna article because that's not what it is. It's their articles and I just want to make sure that I am, because like really what I think of a copy editor as doing is we bring out the best in people's writing. That's really what we're here to do at the end of the day, besides, obviously correcting errors and grammar and stuff like that. So yeah, I've gotten better at it over time, but yeah, I just sometimes I have to rein myself in and be like, okay, McKenna, you got to let them sound like them.
Yeah, exactly. I this is kind of unrelated, and it's kind of a random question, but have you ever, because you talked about like getting better throughout the year, one thing I really struggled with was, this is just who I am as a person, I think, but one thing I struggled with was like doubting if I was doing things correctly at the beginning of the year last year or semester, I guess. Is that something that you had to go through, or were you always kind of like pretty confident you were doing it right?
I mean, just me as a person, like what, especially whenever I start something, I always like tend to, because like you don't know all the rules yet, you don't know
Mhm.
how something works. So I was kind of like, cautious of like, oh, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to like do anything that's out of the ordinary. And I did have a couple articles where I was like, I kind of fumbled a little bit and I was, trying to do too much.
Mhm.
Because, as a copy editor, we do what's called micro edits, which is, just correcting grammar, making sure everything makes sense, whereas macro edits are like more, you know, changing the actual, I
Like
guess,
the format, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And, I would get the urge to like macro edit a little bit and I would, and I'd just like, I'd have to like I got onto myself about it and I think I've gotten better about it. But sometimes there's this little voice in my head that's just like, you need to change this, you need to change that. Like it's like the Green Goblin mask. I just have to fight off the demons.
Yes. No, I totally get that. That's actually something I went through as well last year. I mean, Mike told me, which I don't even think I really realized I was doing it because I was copy editor in high school, and honestly, nobody really read the articles aside from me and I mean, obviously the person that wrote them, but I think me and the teacher were the only people that would like read through it. And so I think from high school, I was also macro editing. So last year, I think I just assumed that was like part of the job. But yeah, I mean, even this year as managing editor, I've kind of realized that at least what we want the messenger format to be, we want the managing editors to kind of do a little bit more macro editing. So honestly, that's something I've had to learn to do as managing editor as well. So McKenna and I kind of double edit a little bit. We have separate editing roles, but we kind of go through it together. But trust, she does way more intense work on the editing than I do. Um, but yeah, kind of, you sort of answered it already, but do you have a favorite part of your job or maybe a favorite article you've edited? I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but
Um,
yeah, if you have any favorite moments even from the year, I'd love to hear it.
I mean, just article wise, I mean, I do something I really like about the messenger is that I kind of get to I feel like a little bit of an overlord over like people's articles. I get to read all of them and I get to see people's writing styles improve over time and I kind of take a little bit of credit for that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like,
Yes, as
yeah,
you
cause
should.
yeah, cause I at least I hope that a lot of the authors look at my edits and
Mhm.
kind of absorb it a little bit. And yeah, a favorite article of mine that I've edited this year. I don't know. That's really hard. There's been so
Hard.
many.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's definitely articles from like certain authors that I do really like reading.
Hmm.
If I had to say like I don't know, like I feel bad picking favorites,
No,
but
it's okay. Go ahead
um
or don't. It's okay.
I mean, you only live once. So the authors that I really do enjoy, like whenever I see an article that's written by them, I'm like, yes. I like seeing Elena's articles. I like seeing Mike's articles because Elena just has this really cool way of describing things. It's almost like creative writing-esque. Like she really puts you into the article. Like she sets the scene super well. And
Yeah.
Mike, I feel like he does a lot of that as well. And he's just like I barely have to edit his articles at all, like a lot of the time. Like it's
Hmm.
it's a little refreshing and you know, I feel like they're just both really good authors and you know,
Yeah. Yeah,
if
I
you're
agree. I agree with all of that. You're completely right. And that's, I mean, I know you're not saying this, but that is not to discredit the other amazing writers that we have as well.
Oh yeah, of
Um,
course.
of course. But I will say what's so fascinating to me, not to go on a Mike tangent, but I remember when I interviewed him, he was like, "Oh, I have like no journalism experience. I'm just doing this to learn." Because I think he even has like a master's in something else. Like, I could be saying that wrong. But he like doesn't really have experience. He's like, I just want to try it for fun and learn. And first of all, he was great off the bat, but I do think that like your edits have helped him, and he's really looked at that and taken it to heart, and he's definitely improved. So, thanks to you, McKenna, of
Yeah.
course. You're
All
like a
thanks to me.
teacher. um, well, that's awesome. I love that. Now, let's talk a little bit about your future. Dun dun dun, scary. Um, tell us a little bit about what you are planning to do next year, or I guess next semester, because we honestly only have like 2 weeks left, guys. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell the audience what your goals and plans are.
Well, I'm finally transferring to KU. It's been the plan for a couple of years. I kind of just wanted to take classes here because of the money. Let's be
Yeah,
real here. Yeah, because I'm not trying to pay those KU prices until I have to.
yeah.
Um, and just transferring to KU, and now that I know what I want to do, like with journalism, I applied to the School of Journalism, got in.
Yay!
And as you know, I've been in talks with their advisor and their editor in chief, and I haven't told you this yet, but I've got my Zoom interview tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Yay! That's so exciting.
Yeah. It's I'm trying out for their copy chief position, which I believe is pretty similar to what I do at the Messenger, and there's two copy chief positions, so you're joining me next year.
Okay, I don't know. McKenna's trying to get me to do it, guys, and I've definitely thought about it. I really want to because I mean not to plug KU, but they have a lot of positions available. So a lot of us who are transferring over to KU are possibly gonna apply for some leadership roles. So yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I don't want to go against you because you're so good. You're gonna get it over me, and that's not me being a pick me,
Nah.
guys. I don't know. So we'll see. But you definitely should do it. And clearly you are. So good. Good. Um, but yeah, so that's very exciting. So you're planning to major in journalism. Do you know what like concentration you want to go into, or like what's your end goal, I guess, as like a career?
That's a good question. I would really like to stay in editing,
Hmm.
honestly, because I don't know, I just really like it a lot, but I mean, I would not be opposed to writing articles in the future. I definitely like the more because I mean, there's news is great, obviously, but I feel like life, you just really get to step into somebody's shoes and, you see a bunch of like numbers and statistics of like what happens to people, like what people's lives are like, but it's really not the same as, like actually reading like the minute details of like, how they live their lives and what goes on. So
Yeah.
I would really like to do something with that.
Yeah, I love that. I know I feel the same about like life and feature writing. I think it's just there's something so like I don't want to say magical, that's really cringy, but like interesting and special about like getting kind of like an inside view into people's lives, because there are so many like cool stories, even at JCCC, with our like Meet a Cav Monday and Faculty Friday features. Like, just getting to see inside people's lives is really special. So yeah, that'll be great. You'll be great at that. I'm very excited for you. Um, well, I mean, I don't really have much else to say. It's been really great to talk to you. Do you have any words of, I don't want to say encouragement, but any words for the viewers or listeners about maybe just like the messenger in general, or I don't know, anything random you want to say too? Go ahead.
Words about the messenger? Read it. Read it right now.
Yes, go read it, guys. You have to. You're forced. If you've made it this far, you have to go read at least one article. That's your homework.
If you don't, you will be cursed tonight.
Ooh, scary.
I called it, so
I
now
don't
you
know,
have to.
guys. McKenna's scary. I feel like she could curse you, so you may as well go read it.
You
Okay.
gotta.
Well, thank you, McKenna. This has been fabulous. And guys, make sure you tune in next week for our possibly final Meet the Messenger. If not, we might be back another week. We'll see. But thanks for listening. Bye.